My hat! Alright, so for this video I have this bucket of water. There is some water in there. We're looking at about 4 liters, about a gallon. But here I have this Lipo battery, so this is completely broken. This is one of my shorty batteries. So I was running this in my buggy, so I'm trying to get the angle so you can see how damaged this is. This is a hard case. What ended up happening is this was in the buggy, took a jump, car kind of fell, and it fell into the straightaway and got T-boned. Now, if this had not been a hard pack, that could have been dangerous. This is what the battery looks like. So I'm going to get this battery ready so that I can dispose of it safely and recycle it. But the other thing I want to do too is I want to open this thing up. I want to see what hard case batteries look like inside. It's probably the same thing as the regular batteries. It's probably just these soldered together, but I'm curious how many cells are in this Team Powers 5500 milliamp battery. So the first thing I'm going to do is there's already some water in here. I'm just going to dump some salt in there, and that should be good enough. But the only thing that you do is you just put some salt in there. That's about as much salt as you need to dissolve in the water. Now, this is the only salt that I had. You can use any salt, it doesn't matter, any table salt. Right now, the only thing I'm doing is I'm just dissolving the salt. To make it a little easier, I actually used warm water, so I'm going to dump the battery in here. I'm going to come back tomorrow. Well, this is going to be one video. But just going to leave it out there for a day after I put the battery. And then once the water turns green, it should turn green, I'll go ahead and remove the battery. And everything will be neutralized, so it won't do anything. And then I can take the battery apart and see what the internals look like. And then the battery I can just recycle. Depending on where you live, some places, that's it. The bubbles are from the case. Some hardware stores or big shops, for example, if you live near a Lowe's or a Home Depot, they will offer programs. Well, they don't offer programs, they just have this big giant box where you can recycle batteries, like your lithium-ion batteries. I'm not sure if you can see those bubbles, so you see the chemical reactions already taking place. So that being said, we're just going to leave it, and we'll see what it looks like tomorrow. I am going to put this outside, I'm not going to leave it in here. But we'll see what it looks like, and then we can open it up. All right, so I'm outside right now, so this is what it should look like. See all that green? So depending on your battery, sometimes you'll get this like big green residue on top. It's not a big deal. You can just let the water evaporate, and then it'll just turn into this greenish dust. But the battery, I'm going to get some just a rubber glove, stick my hand in there. Although everything's neutralized, so I'm not worried about it, but I'm still going to wear a rubber glove. I just don't want the stuff on my hands. I'm going to take it out, and then I'm going to take it apart and see what it looks like inside. But as of now, I can take that battery, just dry it off, and I can take it to e-waste. If you have an e-waste nearby, we do have an e-waste where we live, or you can take it to places that participate in recycling batteries, such as Lipo batteries. So there you go. I'm going to try to see if I can open this up. Hopefully I don't need any tools. Without any tools, I'm going to save these little plastics. I'll clean them up later. I should have removed those before I dumped this in that brine. But let's see. Well, as you can see, this is already broken, so I guess I can always just break this. Alright. right, there's one puffy portion. Let's see. I can probably just score this with my knife. Oh, yeah. Let's see. I don't want to dig in too deep. Just want to score this right here. So it's just following the line between the two plastic pieces. So here, let's see. There's probably still some water. Yeah, there's still some water in there. All right. And it's already damaged, so I'm not worried about breaking anything. All right, so I see three cells in there. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there are 4. I mean, it makes sense that there are 4. 3 do not. Makes sense. That would have been a little strange. And the reason why is because each one is generally 3.7 volts. So what is probably done here is 2 of these are going to be wired in series, and then those 2 series groups are wired in parallel. So that's how you get the voltage. You wire them in series, so positive to negative of the other battery, and then this positive and that negative connect to the positive and negative of the other group. So when you wire in series, you increase the voltage. When you wire in parallel, you increase the amperage. All right, and this is what they look like. So the bottom one, I somewhat destroyed it, but the top one, this is the one that was damaged. And once you have one that is damaged, that's it. Your battery pack is done. It's just a matter of time. And the reason for that is because these two, for example, or this one with another one is wired in series. So then you're going to have one pack that is not going to be working properly. It either won't hold the charge it's supposed to hold, or it won't produce the voltage it's supposed to produce. Now here, so let me just give you a better view. There's a lot of light coming from the window. Maybe if I stand and block some. But this is what they look like. So these are just larger packs. If you look at some phones, they have some of these a little smaller, or some GPS units will have a lithium polymer battery. It's just a smaller version. This is it. This is how they are attached. Just right in here, and then you have this little rubber foam piece. So it's like a rubberized foam that holds them. And then you have the circuitry right here. So the circuitry, this is, it pretty much does everything. And no, this is perfectly neutralized. I'm not worried about touching this stuff. All right, so if you look at this, that's solder and that's solder. So here's one main wire. So one of the things that you can see here is there's 4 tabs. Oh, just realized I was a little off camera. Sorry, I apologize. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and notice that there's a wire soldered from here to there. Those 2. If I had taken these apart before dumping them in that brine, I probably could have saved maybe 1 or 2 and then reused them, but I did not. So, not a big deal. One of the things that I also want you to notice is this copper end, the corrosion that occurred just from being in that brine, just the transfer of electrons, it neutralized it. But anyway, what I want you to notice is this top one right here, it's soldered on this other side. So this one's soldered to here, right? This one over here, if I remove this protective film, should be able to see. There we go. This one is soldered to there. Now they're glued, but this one here is soldered to here. This one is soldered to there. And then you have these bottom ones. Let's see if I can remove this. All right. And you can see the soldering. There's the tab for the battery. Right. So you can see that in there. All right. So we have these two batteries are soldered in parallel right here, and these two are soldered in parallel. So both of these are soldered to that tab. So when you do that, you increase the amperage. So let's just say this was a 1000 milliamp battery, and this is a 1000 milliamp battery. So by soldering them in parallel, so positive to positive, negative to negative, you double the amperage. So you're going to end up with 2000 milliamp hours. The voltage will stay the same. It'll be 3.7. So you do that, now you have a 2000 milliamp hour battery, 3.7 volts. And then over here, you do the same thing, right? Solder them right in here. So positive, positive, negative, negative. Now you have another 2000 milliamp hour battery. And then what you do is you take, notice this is soldered to this terminal and this is soldered to that terminal, right? So you have the positive and the negative of one battery. So the negative of this goes here, the positive of this goes there. And then you go positive to negative. That's what this wire does. So this wire puts them in series. So now what you do is, by putting them in series, you double the voltage. The amperage stays the same. So you had a 2000 and 2000, but it was 3.5 volts, 3.5 volts. Now you have a 2000 milliamp hour battery, 7.4 volts. That's the way this works. Now these are much larger. So this battery pack was a 5500 milliamp hour battery pack. So that means that you had 2250 here, 2250 here, and then you can just, sorry, I apologize. You have 5500, 5500, and then once you divide it into two, each one of these is 2250. So 2250, 2250, wire them in parallel. You double that, 5500, double it, 5500. Now you have two 5500 packs at 3.7 nominal voltage. Wire them in series, you just double the voltage, and that gives you a 7.4 volt pack, 5500 milliamp hour battery. And that's the way they work. So that's the circuitry, and it looks pretty good on the camera, I think. So again, these two are wired here, those two terminals are wired there, these two terminals here, these two here. This is what makes them into series. So positive and negative here, and then these go to the terminals right over here. But this is what your battery looks like in here. Now if I were to open one of these packs, don't really want to. See, this one already became detached. There we go. So that would have been your positive and negative right there. That's how they're attached. But if we take one of these, we can actually dissect this further. I'm actually trying to exploit the bubble. Here we go. This is what this looks like. So you actually have a variety of different metals. The actual lithium inside of a battery isn't that much. It's a small percentage, but it gives it the power. So when you open it, you see these copper plates. So it's just really thin copper. and this is actually very, very soft. And really, it looks just like a capacitor. So if you've ever made a capacitor just for fun, I mean, you can make a capacitor with just some fabric and tin foil, or some of that aluminum foil, and then you just drive a charge. But that's all you have. So that white stuff there, that's just an insulator. That's all it is. So this is just one giant capacitor. So this is just a copper film. And then this is the insulator that just insulates the different sheets. So if we were to strip this completely, and go ahead and open this, that's what you have. So you have the different layers. All right, so other than that, thank you so much for watching. Oh, and a little side note, do this in a well-ventilated area because it does release some gas. But anyway, that's what your battery looks like.